This is an old iPhone 11 Pro. This is the beautiful city of Edinburgh, and in this video I want to tell you how shooting on an iPhone can improve your mental health and creativity. Let's find out how. Recently, my wife and I made a trip to the gorgeous city of Edinburgh in Scotland. It's a photographer's paradise, perhaps one of the most photogenic cities in the UK, possibly even in the world. And yet I struggled. In the days prior to the trip, my mood was low, in fact very low. This is a feeling that I suspect many creative people get, and it's also one that is not easy to shake off. By the morning of our departure, that mood, if anything, had deepened. Ahead lay a 3-hour drive on a spectacular road, and yet I just could not get enthused about it at all. Even arriving in Edinburgh, I was feeling really down. One of the problems was that I had set myself a task to create a YouTube video. That was work, and this was supposed to be a break with my wife. So, whilst downing some beer to get out of the pouring rain, I made a decision. iPhone photos only. I was not going to get my Fujifilm X-H2 out of the camera bag at all. Now this is something I've done before on trips, and in this video I'll explain a little why. Now of course for my iPhone you can substitute any smartphone with a decent camera. The end result is the same. Our best creativity comes when we are relaxed. Our mind has the freedom to interpret the scene in front of us without other thoughts popping into our heads. Our eyes will wander around the scene, seeing new possibilities for a photograph. When we ditch our main cameras and just wander a locale with a smartphone, with no plan and, more importantly, no plan to photograph, we will often see more photographic opportunities. In the past, this would have led us to running back to our car or hotel to grab our cameras. By the time you returned, the scene had changed, or you were so stressed you could no longer see that great shot. With a smartphone, when a shot suddenly appears in front of you, you can simply swipe to open your camera app and shoot away. It's liberating. It allows you to be spontaneous. Even if the scene looks too dark or bright, you can slide the exposure up or down merely by touching the screen. No need to think about what to adjust, shutter speed, aperture, ISO. The smartphone does it for you all. There's sometimes a barrier in our mindset when using a smartphone for photography. We pride ourselves on our photographic abilities. When we use a smartphone, we often do not need to deal with the more technical side, and that can make us feel like we're not actually crafting an image. But that's just wrong. You already have those abilities. You have nothing to prove. You have nothing to be afraid of when using automatic focus and exposure. Using them does not diminish your ability as a photographer. Smartphone cameras are designed to be used in automatic modes. Most default to an intelligent program mode, area autofocus and automatic white balance. They tend to be extremely good at it too. In reality, those modes are designed to flatter the non-photographer. They will often use HDR to push detail into the skies, increase the saturation of images, enhance the sharpness. But these are often things that we will do in post-production anyway, so why not let your phone do it for you? Most photographers have one or two genres that they're most comfortable with. For me, it would be travel and city photography. It's what I know. I struggle with portraits or street photography because I don't do them very often. This brings into play one of the enormous advantages of shooting with a smartphone, the ability to experiment in different genres without the fear of failure. You can practice your portraits using a smartphone with a loved one. The lack of a big fear-inducing camera between you and your subject can lead to much more relaxed looking shots. You can get close. Many smartphone cameras will allow you to get very close to a subject, shooting details or abstracts without the need to stick on a macro lens. If something amusing happens in front of you, you have the perfect street photography camera. A fast-focusing, moderate wide-angle, discrete camera. That moderate wide angle combined with a small sensor gives smartphones a deep depth of field, great for landscape or cityscape photography. Now, of course, that same sensor is going to give noise in low light and relatively low dynamic range, but sometimes we should just aim to shoot the moment for what it is, not for technical perfection. There's one other element that holds us back a little, and that's the elephant in the room, the snobbery of others. Some photographers look down at the humble smartphone as not really a photographic tool. We all pride ourselves on our ability to read the light, nail the exposure, and make every last pixel in our shot a winner. Now that's a good thing. It's a sign of a true photographer, a person that knows their craft and has mastered their tools. It can, however, be a bad thing in terms of our creativity. We can spend too much time fussing over the details that we can quite easily miss the bigger picture. The light could have changed, the subject moved. So many things could have changed while we pondered the settings that the opportunity is lost. Creativity is a blessing, but it can also be a curse. There are times when we are tired or down, our creativity just seems to leave us. Those are the times that we should turn to the camera in our pocket and feel the freedom of smartphone photography. If you've suffered from a lack of creativity, let me know in the comments below how you got yourself out of it. If you've enjoyed this video, a like would really help and a sub would be brilliant. See you in the next one.